don't understand it. Righteousness, it is not by my faith, but it is by Jesus' faith. It is not my faith. It is not me just believing in Jesus that makes me righteous, but it is because Jesus loved me first before I came to love him. It's what I'm making. So it is in the faith of Jesus that makes me to be righteous. So that is why, because when you believe that righteousness is in your faith, that you are operating into works. That's why we have a lot of sycophants in churches today. They think that when I sweep the church, this is the time God will bless me. When you fix your thing that die for God, you will miss the mark. This is why people will leave from the church to the other church, because they will think that God is not here, God is to the other church, and they will go there. Because you can't continue to fix your mind, say that since I'm an usher, then God have to bless me. No, if you believe in God, you love him, you know very well that where God bless need to be clean. You will clean it, then you will not have the mentality that I have to sleep so God can bless me. It is love that makes you to sleep to sleep. It is love of God that makes you to come to church to worship him. It is not because the pastor got money to give to people business that you will come. If you create that, you will miss the mark. Being justified freely by grace, we did not work for it. The righteousness, we did not work for a right standing with God. We did not work to be right standing with God. We did not work for that. See what Paul declared. Paul said something in Galatians chapter 2 verse 20. This is what Paul declared. He said, I am no longer living by myself, but Christ that lives in me. See what he said? He said, I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live. Yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And that the life which I live in the flesh, I live by faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. He said, this life that I live today, it is no longer I that live, but it is Christ that lives in me. This life that I live. So I need not to do something to satisfy God. I need to love God. Then I will see what God loves to do, what God will please, what will please God. But not because I want God to do this, so this is why I'm going to do that. No, things are idol worship. Paul said, the life that I live now, it is no longer me, Paul, that live. Because we men, we love to satisfy people. We love to please people. And if you want to please God, you want to satisfy God, you will miss the mark. Because God first loves you. So when God loves you, when you love God, the love of God will constrain you to do those things that will please God. When your life is to please God, and by pleasing God, you think that you can come to be sweeping, you miss it. It is not so. He said, what do you mean by that? Other people have been sweeping in the past. I said, yeah, but check them out. Because the thing is that you have to love God. When you love God and you know that God can visit his people, 1, 2, or 3 at Gala, they are there. That because of the love of God will bring you in the morning to come and sweep here. But when you put God, say, because I sweep so God will bless you, then you miss it. And that's why God sent men, and some of us have come to interpret the scripture to you. The thoughts of men is not the thought of God. And that the mistakes that we made. He said, my ways are not your ways, neither my thoughts are your thoughts. I say, heaven is far from the earth, so my thoughts and my ways are far from you. Paul says, it's no longer I that live, but Christ that lives in me. By the resurrection of Christ, we are justified and made righteous forever. Because Christ died and never left in the grave, you can never be unrighteous because he never left there. The resurrection of Christ brought your righteousness. When Christ will come to remain in the grave, everyone also coming to be bound. The first fruits of those that resurrected with Christ prove that we are all seated with him in heavenly places. We that believe in him. That's why I say, by his resurrection, we are justified and made righteous forever. No man can take the righteousness of God from you. Hey, that sounds strange. Your righteousness, if you believe in Jesus Christ, that he gave his life for you, and you begin to love him. Don't you love him more than you love yourself, but you begin to love him, you will be righteous forever. Because even when you fall back, that territory is not your territory. When you fall into sin, that place is not your territory. You will feel uncomfortable, and the Lord will take you from there. You will find yourself, the spirit in you will hold you from there, because that place is not your territory. Christ don't condemn. Romans chapter 4 verse 25. Who was delivered for our offenses? Who was delivered for our offenses? In Luke, he said that woe unto any man that falls short to offense. He said offense will come, but woe unto you that will fall short to offense. People will offend you, but to react and say you are wrong. Because offense, no one can stop it. Every day people will wrong you. People will hate you every day. But you didn't yield to it. When you yield to it, he said that problem you have caused. In Romans chapter 4, verse 25, he said, who was delivered for our offenses and was raised again for our justification. So people that wanted to mock at you, Christ gave himself to be mocked at for your sake. People that used to laugh at you or want to laugh at you, Christ allowed himself, he gave himself an open shame on the cross. So they start to laugh at him. And you say you are son of God, you are the king of the Jews, deliver yourself. Then who are you that they can laugh at? Because of you, they laugh at Christ. No offense that they were causing you. They said that Christ gave himself for your offense. Then when he died, he resurrected. Why he resurrected? So you can be justified. So no man can see you as the man that were in the flesh before, but can see you as a Christian. Because when he justify you, you are Christ-like. You are a Christian.